So I've printed some pretty big things in the past, but nothing in comparison to this, which isn't even the biggest part of this set that I've been printing off. So STLFlix very kindly got in contact with me and asked if I wanted to cover their latest set. Unbeknownst to me was how big this set is. And yeah, it came with a few challenges, but I am really impressed and pleased with the end result, so let's get on with it. So the latest set by STLFlix, who very kindly sponsored this video, is absolutely packed full of different bits for you to print off. It comes with its own adventure, so that way you can play through the campaign that they've got here, and loads of terrain, miniatures, and some big beastie demons as well. So with this being a really big project with lots of stuff to actually print off, I needed to figure out and make a plan as to how I was actually going to approach it. I figured the thing that was going to take me the longest to print off was this amazing cathedral, because obviously it's loads and loads of parts. In total, I think it's like 42 different parts, and you need to put them all together, and they're all big beastie parts as well. So I loaded up Bamboo Studio, created a project in there, and just started getting everything sliced, and then got through to the printing bit. And all these parts will take a good few hours. I think in total it's been like 2 weeks worth of printing, so my Bamboo lab has been going absolutely mad. So once I got the cathedral starting on the print, I then loaded everything else up onto my resin 3D printer. And I figured the first thing I would start off with was all like the NPC and the smaller units and a few of the smaller demons as well. And I say smaller demons, but they're still pretty large. I got all of those printed off and then I popped them off, got them obviously cured up, off the supports and everything else like that. And then I needed to get them all primed and ready. And before I moved on to the printing stage, I then moved across onto the big beastie demon as well and threw him onto the resin printer so that way I could try and do things as one part was printing and then one part was getting painted, and just try to manage this absolute madness that I was doing. So with regards to the painting, I kicked it off with the 2 demons, primed them all black, and then I wanted to go for this green from below because I figured that way I could try to theme all the demons together and have them slightly different colours as well. So I hit them all with a green from below, and then I picked out some different colours. So for this big beastie here, I used purple and then a pink from above, and I really liked the way this one turned out. And then for this one, which is this like bloodthirster type demon, I hit him with obviously green from below and then some reds and oranges from above as well, just to pick out some of those details. For him as well, I wanted his sword to really stand out, and I was going to have this like magma lava type thing, but I just figured there wouldn't be enough contrast for that and it would just cause it all to blend together. So I decided to go absolutely mad with the greens instead. So I hit it with a brighter green and then this like fluorescent green from Army Painter. And I really liked the way that turned out. At this stage with these, I really liked the way they were already looking. So I left the purple one there just, you know, for time's sake, because there was a lot to do. But with the red one, I wanted to pick out some more of the details. So to avoid kind of like covering up the glow that I'd already got and some of the bits from below as well, like all the greens and everything, I went with some Army Painter speed paints, but I thinned them down so it's like a 50-50 mix of water and Army Painter speed paints. And I like the way this one looks because it's like this nice translucent layer, so more of a filter over the top of it rather than just obscuring all the detail you've already done. Hit things like the tips of the wings and the claws and stuff like that with this nice black, and threw a few browns and other bits on there just to pick out some details. With all the NPCs, I went for a zenithal prime, so I hit them all with black and then white from above, and then I just went through them and started picking out some of the different details. Again, for these, I mostly use Army Painter speed paints and contrast paints just to kind of get things done a little bit faster, and then I got some metallics as well. For the angel, I wanted him to really stand out against the demons. Everything, they all had this green and reds and purples, and I'm not particularly good at painting white. It takes quite a long time to do. And the angel's wings were this big like white mass, and I figured they needed to really stand out as this magical angel after all. So all I did for that is I left them with the standard white prime that was on there, and I got some really thinned down Army Painter speed paint and popped it over the top. I believe the colour that I used for this was Caribbean blue. I just like the way that colour looks. It's a really nice and bright blue, but it doesn't obscure all the details. So I had all the miniatures done, and then it was on to the next stage of things, which was a lot more demanding. So over the space of like the 2 weeks, I've been grabbing all the bits off for the cathedral, getting them all kind of cleaned up and then ready for the priming stage. And that's where we move on to this next bit. And whilst that was happening as well, with this big beastie here, I got him all primed up in grey, so that way he was ready for some of the other colours that we did. So now that everything is printed, I've now got the fun job of putting it all together. And this is turning into a much bigger project than I expected. So it's all here on the table. Oh, it's a lot of stuff there. So this is going to be a lot of fun. Here we go. So I'm going to take all this out now to the garage, get it all primed, stuck together and all of that. Wish me luck. Okay, so as you can see, I have glued some of these parts together already, just it kind of makes more sense. Like these bits here, I'm going to hit them all with the heat gun now, as well, just to kind of get rid of some of the stringing that I've got and then some of the imperfections. And then I'm going to leave it like that, so that way things like these entry walkway bits, you can play in them, and then you can pop the roof off instead, rather than having all that glued together. I was going to glue the whole thing together, but it's massive. And I figured if I glue it all together, it means you can't play inside of the interior, but also I have nowhere to, like, it's going to take up a lot of space, whereas this way I can break it down. Once I've done all the cleanup and bits like that, I need to go outside and prime them. Obviously I've got some rattle cans, hence the dancing. Problem is, it's raining, so I need to figure that out, so I guess wish me luck. There's a lot of stuff here. Okay, so since we are struggling with the rain, I figured I will get over to the airbrush station and start airbrushing the big beastie. Now, everything else has kind of been hit with green from below, so I figured why not try and tie it in and go for some greens from below, maybe some pinks from above, and just see what happens. So this is the beastie in question. I have rattle canned him all over with some grey, and I guess we're about to find out what this looks like. Now, I'm probably not going to be able to film it because, you know, he doesn't even really fit in the airbrush booth, so yeah, wish me luck. So the Cathedral has been primed, and Big Winged Demon has also been done as well. And I actually really like the way this looks. There's more detail to go back in there and pick out, like his eyes, his teeth, his claws, this big, like, wooden, I don't know, like, and this big, like, wooden bit as well that he's holding. So there's more detail to pick out on there, but just as kind of a thing that's going to probably sit in the background more often than not, I really like the way this has turned out. With the Cathedral, it is pretty much just all like blacks and greys at the moment, but I want to go back in there at a later date and pick out a lot of those details and do a lot more work on it. So my thoughts are I'm going to go in with this nice like dry brush of cream and get all of those details picked out on there. So it's not just grey, it's more this like sandstone type finish. And then I need to pick in things like, here's got all this like flooring and everything that needs to be done, or the windows. I want to do this nice, I don't even know where to start with that, but some nice looking windows that you'd actually expect to find on the Cathedral. So at the moment it's kind of boring grey, but I definitely want to do a lot more with it. So let me know in the comments, do you want me to do a dedicated video where I just spend that doing the Cathedral and picking out all the details? Let me know. So all in all, this set is incredible. It took a long time putting it all together, but I really, really like it. There's a really good mix of miniatures to choose from. There's some stuff there as well that I haven't printed and painted as well, so there's even more choice for you. There's loads of props as well that you can print off to go in the Cathedral. There's just so much to like about this, and I've had a blast putting it together. It took a lot of planning, so if you are going to go off and check this out by STLFlix, I do recommend put together a plan before you start approaching it, because there's a lot to pick off. And the great thing is you can print the Cathedral bits either on like your resin printer or on your FDM printer as well. So depending on how you want to do it and what tools you've got at your disposal, you do have those options. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'm really, really impressed with this. It's going to take up a lot of space, but I've got some plans in the future as well. I'm currently printing off a castle, which can be one of my upcoming projects, and I want to do 2 opposing armies as well. So I want to have loads and loads and loads of terrain to go with that and do something just a little bit epic, but we'll see how that turns out. So thanks so much to STLFlix for sending all this stuff over. I've had a blast and hope you guys have enjoyed it as well. And before I end the video, I will leave you with some B-roll of all of the footage put together, the Cathedral and everything like that. And hopefully I will see you in the next one. Bye.